Hey guys, in this video I'll be talking to Nuria about her publishing journey. She goes by the name of The Home Boss on YouTube. I randomly came across her YouTube channel when I was, browsing for the creators, and I loved her channel. And I later found out that she was enrolled in the course as well, which was a pleasant surprise. Also, it's her birthday today, so uh, I wish her in the comments below.
Thank
Uh,
you.
So, Nuria, for people who don't know you, can you just give them a brief introduction about who you are, where you're from?
Right. Well, okay. So I started KDP in November 2019. And I think it was after I was searching for the typical how to make money online. And I
Right.
came across, I don't know how it even happened. I just came across how to make low content books. And I used to watch Rachel Harrison's Sons, Kelly Publish, Rob Cubbins, all those people. And I came across your video at one point as well, and I thought, wow, this is this is amazing because I thought you were outstanding in the sense that you are quite young, and there's not many really young people in KDP.
Right.
And also your results were amazing. And
Mm.
I remember watching one video of yours where you had an income report, and I thought, wow, if I can just make one tiny bit of that, I'd be happy. And I followed your advice and I watched all your videos, and I thought, well, let's give it a try. And I watched so many videos. At the beginning, I just spent most of my time watching YouTube videos and learning and taking it all in. And I like putting things together from one person and another person and another. And I think that's how you learn. You learn from different experiences.
Right.
And yeah, and that's how it started. And I didn't do too great at the beginning, but I think what helped me is I started in quarter four. So it was November 2019.
Oh,
And
that's a good time
it's
to
a really
start.
good
Yeah.
time to start, yes, because I saw there were a couple of sales after 2 weeks, I think it was, and that really gives you a boost because I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting anything, and I thought, wow, I've sold a book, you know, and it was a notebook, and I thought this works, you know. So then I carried on, and January, February last year was terrible for me. It wasn't very
Right.
good. Then you get a little bit, this is how KDP works. You don't get any sales for a while, and then you suddenly get sales, and then they drop off again, and then you suddenly get sales. And it's only since I think November or October even last year that I started earning consistently, and there's not so much of a fluctuation now as there was
Okay.
before. And now I can relax into it and think, yes, this is now what I want to do. And but
Nice.
I could have given up a lot of times because
Right.
it does when you
So,
don't. Yeah.
prior to low content publishing, were you into any other online businesses?
Well, yeah, I started selling online in about 2010.
Oh wow.
And before that, I had lots of other jobs. I think at one point I had a language school. I was teaching English as a foreign language and French and
Nice.
German. And then I came back to England and I had all different kinds of jobs. And then I started selling costume jewelry on eBay, on Shopify, and on Amazon. And I did that for quite a few years. And I think I just got a little, it worked. It was fine. It was a good business to have.
Right.
But I got a little bit, I'm not into jewelry. And I think if you're selling something that you're not into, it's not your, I don't know how to say it, it's not what you love to do. And
Yeah.
also my house was full of boxes, and I had to
Mm.
keep buying jewelry, and it was just, I was looking for something simpler. And
Right.
I got into blogging. That's how it started. I started
Nice.
a blog, and my husband and I were doing up our garden at the time, and we made it over completely. And I started blogging about that, and that kind of took off. And then I thought, what else can I do online? Because this is nice. It's you don't need anything other than a computer and that's it. So I thought there must be other
Right.
ways to
Are
make
you
money
are
online.
you
And
still blogging?
yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah, still with the gardening blog, and I'm sort of trying other niches as well.
Have you
I just haven't got the time.
right. Have you tried combining the two businesses? Like you can use your blog to, sell a book or something.
I
Have you
do.
ever?
I
Oh,
do.
nice. Okay, nice.
Yes, I link to Amazon from my blog.
Right.
So
So you were doing all this, and then you discovered low content publishing in 2019, and you
yeah,
started. So if let's say I'm getting in the business, I'm struggling to see any sales. What advice would you give me?
I would say don't stop, don't give up, because it's easy to give up. I think there are months when things just don't fall together. They just look like it. It's like, if you don't have evidence of something working, it's very hard to carry on. But I think you have to remember that this is a long-term business. Like any business, even when I
Yeah.
started my jewelry business, the first few months, you're trying to recover your investment to start with. At least with KDP, there's no investment unless you want to buy tools or courses or anything like that. But there's no real investment. You can start this without any money, really.
Right.
So, you have to look at the positives in this. And if you want to do this um, on the side of something else, if you've got a full-time job, that's probably the perfect way to start, or a part-time job and then doing this on the side, because at least you're secure and you have some income coming in, and then you can take your time with KDP and do it properly. I think people are trying to make money too quickly,
Yeah.
and you can, but it's not going to work for everybody. So,
Yeah,
it's
that's great advice. How was your Q4? How was your December last year?
how was my, sorry, I didn't hear that.
How were your December sales?
Oh, December. Yeah, December was great. It was, for me, it was surprising
Was
because
it
it
better than
was,
your December of 2019?
of course,
Right.
yes,
Right.
much better. I mean, I think it was, I'm not very good with remembering figures, and
Right.
also I'm
Same.
working in pounds rather than in dollars. So I'm not quite sure what that translates to in dollars now. But I think the first December, was it? I can't remember if it was £200 or £400, but it's not,
But
it's not a big amount. But for me, it was a lot at the
yeah,
time, because I
that's
thought,
nice.
wow, it's come from nowhere. I didn't expect it. And then if you compare that to last December, where I made £7,000, that's a big jump. So
Nice.
it's, and hopefully next December, I'm really looking forward to next December, because I've only just started running ads. I didn't run any ads
Mm.
before for a whole year.
Right.
And I'm now realizing that ads are like a rocket that boosts everything.
Right.
So
So do you
I,
do things differently in December? Like, does your strategy change?
yeah, I think the only thing that I do is I prepare in August. I make some more books to have more of an inventory for December, for quarter
Right.
four. And it's really important to do that as early as possible, because I think people start too late.
Right.
They start the week before November or whatever. And then I think
Mm.
that's a little bit too late. I think August, or even earlier, just to build up your inventory.
Right.
And then last year, I started running ads in November, but I have no idea about ads. I didn't know. I watched your course. and and even then, I know the way you explain it is really good, but I was like, really, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right?
Right.
I just didn't know whether I was doing it the right way or not. But I think a lot of it is experimenting. And
Yeah, that's about it. Like even when I
yeah,
started, it's very intimidating in the beginning, but you get used to it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of it was like, some of the books were just not gaining any sales. And then I thought, okay, well, let's concentrate on the other adverts that are making sales.
Right.
And then I just started to, I know people say don't look at your ads every day. I was looking at them every 5 minutes. And if one of them was, if, for example, my daily budget was running out,
Right.
but it was selling, then I increased my daily budget. So I
Gotcha.
started maybe with £10 a day. and I had a few sales, and then it said out of budget, and then I increased it by £5 to
What?
£15. And then I sold some more. And then as long as I was selling, I kept increasing the daily budget. I don't know if that's the right thing to
Yes.
do, but it worked. So
And so in December, did you make any books targeting the holidays specifically, or did you?
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't normally like to make seasonal books. I
Right.
prefer to make evergreen books, but I made some Christmas books.
Mhm.
First time I've done that. And I sold a few. Yeah, I think
Nice.
they will take off next year. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
was a little bit late with the Christmas books.
Gotcha.
So I'm hoping that next year they will be. And also then I know a little bit more about advertising, and hopefully
Right.
I can run the
Nice.
ads better than I did last year.
So let's talk about your publishing process.
Mhm.
So how do you go about selecting a niche?
Okay, so to tell you the truth, I haven't been publishing for quite a while now because I've
Gotcha.
been doing other things. But when I do publish, I do my research first, and I follow your advice. Whatever you said in your videos at the beginning, I used to follow that. And then sometimes I do it slightly differently as well. It just depends on the kind of book. Like my best-selling book is a book that I didn't do any research on, and
Oh,
and that was because I went to a bookstore and I saw a book and I thought, wow, I really like this book.
nice.
And I thought, what's it about? Let me have a look. I had a look inside and I thought, I can do this. This is not too difficult. And I made a similar, I didn't copy. It was a completely different cover, completely different interior, but it was the idea behind the book. So I made a book because I liked it, because I liked the idea, and that's now
Nice.
my bestseller. So sometimes, and it's in a quite competitive niche.
So when you are doing your research, do you mostly research on Amazon itself?
Yes, I think the best research is done on Amazon.com. I do .co.uk as well because my sales mostly come from the UK. So I do look
Got
at
it.
that as well. But I start with .com, and I think everything you need is on Amazon. There's nothing that you really need. You can look at the bestsellers, have a look. You can look at the BSR. So it helps to have extensions like, what is it called? The Amazon drop down expander.
Yeah,
I
the
can't remember the
AMZ
name.
suggestion expander.
Yeah. So anything like that helps because it just saves time. But that's
Right.
all it does. It just saves time. You still have to come up with the ideas yourself. You can't, there is no tool on this planet that can give you a good niche.
Exactly.
That is something you have to really learn how to do yourself. And I think that you have to enjoy books, and you have to know what the customer is looking for in that book. There's no point in making a book and then you don't know how the customer is going to use it. I think if you put yourself in the shoes of your customer and you think, oh, I would buy this book because I could use it to do this, or I could use it to do that, that helps, I
Oh, that's
think.
great advice.
Mm.
So after you've selected a niche, do you say niche or niche personally?
I say niche, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I think if you say niche, then at least you can say the riches are in the niches. You can, because it rhymes. You
Right.
can't say the riches are in the niches. Doesn't sound very good. So
So
I say
after
niche.
your niche selection, how do you go about creating your book? What tools do you use for your interior design, your cover design?
I I come up with the interior first. To me, the interior is really important because that is what the customer is going to be using. Not so much the cover is the first impression, and then the interior is what they're going to be working with. So the interior is important, and I've tried everything. I tried making my own. At first, when I started, I used PowerPoint, and now I use Canva for everything. I tried board interiors as well. You can buy ready-made interiors and then just change them as much as you can. I combine them with other interiors and I add graphics or pictures or whatever I do. I
Nice.
change them quite a lot, and that worked as well. but I find that when I make my own interiors, they sell better. I don't know why. I think it's
Right.
because I think more about what the person's going to use it for. I think there are a lot of ready-made interiors on the market that are made by people who are not really, who don't really know the niche. They're
Exactly.
just making a lot of interiors, but they don't. For example, I know a lot, or I know some things, not a lot, some things about gardening. So I know how to make a gardening journal or a gardening planner because I know what I
Right.
need for that, you know. So it's good to make niches that you know something about. And if you don't know anything about it, research the niche. And I tell you, I've learned so many things just by doing that. I learn about things that I never knew before. So, you know, it really helps. Or if you're making a meal planner, I know what I would like from a meal planner. So, you know, I can
Right.
make my interior to match that.
Yeah, that's
But
great
there's so
advice.
many different things, you know.
And so, for your graphics and your illustrations, do you use Illustrator? Do you make them yourself? Do you use some
No,
service?
I use Creative Fabrica a
Right.
lot. I use Creative Market. I use Canva. I've got Canva Pro, so we know now that we can use the images on Canva as long as you don't use a standalone image and you combine it with different things and make it look different to the original. So that's all I use, and it's actually working really well for me.
Nice.
Um, I don't make things like coloring books. I make I've made a simple coloring book like for children or for um, with text, you know, things like
Right.
that. But if I were to make a really good coloring book, then I would make my own illustrations or get somebody professional to do it. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, would you say you have a good eye for design?
I I actually studied graphic design a long time ago.
Oh,
I
nice.
did a course and then I never used it again. And as a child, I always wanted to be a graphic designer. So I just love KDP because it's kind of gone back to what I want to do. I love
Right.
designing. Yes, I do. I don't know
Well,
if I've got a good eye. I think that's for other people to judge, but you know, I love doing it. So yeah.
nice. So, after you've done your niche selection, you've created the interior and cover. How do you go about with the keyword research?
Yeah, that is the difficult part and the most important part, really. I try to think, you know, I use tools. I have used tools, and there's a lot of tools that you can use. But ultimately, it's what other people type in to find your book.
Right.
And all you have to do really is to think, what would I type in to find this book? You know, and there are some keywords that people forget to put in, like when it's a gift, you could put in that it's a gift for whoever it's targeted at. But other than that, it's really just typing in what I would type in to find that particular book. And I keep my keywords quite tight, quite focused. So
Right.
when we use the keywords in the 7 backend slots,
Right.
at first I used to try and fill them all out. And now I realize that you don't have to do that. You just, you know,
Yeah.
you don't have to use all the slots. Just keep your keywords as focused as possible. Because if you have any keywords in there that don't apply to your book, or that don't apply directly to your book, you're wasting, you know, you're wasting views, because people will look at your book because the keyword brought them to your book, and then they will go somewhere else because it wasn't what they were looking for. So, you know, I
Right.
think it's worth keeping your keywords really narrow and really focused on the product.
And when you're inputting your keywords, do you repeat the words? I think that's a very frequently asked
Never.
question.
No,
Right.
no, I don't, because I really believe that Amazon will use the keywords in any order. I know Amazon, if you read the terms, it says to put them in a logical order.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Uh, Funny red notebook rather than red funny notebook. I don't know what the rules are exactly on that, but there is
Right.
a way that people use adjectives in a certain order. But I find that on Amazon, I don't think it matters that much. I think that they will use any order of those keywords. You can try and put them in a way that they sound like someone is
Mhm.
speaking normally, but I don't repeat any words, and I try to just use any words that are really focused on the product more than anything else.
Gotcha. So after you've done your keywords, you publish the book. Do you start the ads right away? Do you wait?
Um, I should really, but
Okay.
it all depends on my budget. You know, I have to be careful with my budget because if, it depends on how much you earn. Now that my December was really good, I had a little bit more money for my ads in January.
Right.
So try to run adverts on books that are selling. So that was
Okay.
the first thing I did. I thought, okay, let me concentrate on the ones that I know people want to buy. But that was only because I had a very tight budget. So now what I'm going to try and do is run it on any books that I think are going to sell, and I'll let it run for a few days and then I'll see what happens. If one isn't performing, I switch it off. But I also find that sometimes if you let them run long enough, they can suddenly perform.
Right.
So it really depends on your budget. You know, it's all about money. If you have a lot of money, you can make more sales.
Right.
That's
I think I forgot
that's
to ask you,
unfortunate.
did you get started with no content or low content?
I started with notebooks. So I don't know if we can, I would say that's no content
Right.
really. And just to learn the process. And that's what I advise people to do. You know, start with notebooks, but don't make thousands or hundreds, you know, just make 5 or 10
Yeah.
notebooks to learn the process. And then I went on to something else because I just enjoyed making different books. I find lined notebooks, you know, what can you do with lined notebooks? Not a lot. You have to concentrate on the cover more than anything.
Yeah.
But I find it really exciting to do more content now, and I'm planning on doing maybe even full content. You know, it kind of evolves, and one
Right.
thing leads to another.
Even I've been diversifying into non-fiction and it's been pretty fun.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So what are your plans for this year?
I've got lots of plans. I just find that I haven't got enough hours in the day. I wish the days were longer. We've got obviously with KDP, I want to produce more books, more higher content books, children's books. I'm just working on my children's book course at the moment, so I want to get
Nice.
that out as soon as possible, so that I can then make more books. And then also we have 2 Etsy shops where we sell print on
Nice.
demand. We're planning on opening a third Etsy shop for a different niche, and yeah, and the blogs. So pretty much busy. So I just think it's important to have different income streams, you know,
Yeah.
so that if something goes a bit flat, then another thing can support you. Oh yeah, and YouTube as well. So I think
Mm.
YouTube has
Yeah.
taken most of my time at the moment. So I started making 3 or 4 videos a week, and now I'm scaling back to 2 because I just can't maintain
What
that
made
sort of.
you what made you start a YouTube channel?
What made me start YouTube?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
People like you, basically. Like I watched your videos and I watched other people's videos, and I thought maybe I can sort of bring something to that, because the way I started and the way it kind of worked after a while, I thought maybe I can help other people do that as well, and show people that you don't have to be an expert, you don't have to know everything from the beginning, and you can learn about it. And I thought if I put myself out there as an example, then that might encourage other people to do it as well. And the only way to do that really is YouTube, because I did it on my website. And oh, actually, before that, I made a course about blogging for Udemy.
Oh,
And
nice.
that kind of got me into the filming side of things and into video
Mm.
editing. And I really enjoyed that. So YouTube was just like a second step.
Like, why did you host it on Udemy? You could have, hosted on your own platform and gone that route? Because I've heard that Udemy is not very good for course
Yeah.
creators. They do weird stuff with price cutting and all.
Yeah, well, don't forget that at the time I had no audience. I wouldn't have been able to host it on my own platform because nobody knew who I was. Nobody, I could have sent it to a few friends, and I would have lost a few friends, I think. So you know,
So
that is not the way.
are
So
you gonna host your upcoming course on Udemy?
yeah, I'm going to use Podia.
Right.
I also have things on Gumroad, but I think because it's such a big course, I was planning on making a mini course, and
Mm-hmm.
it's turned into something completely different. So I'm going to use Podia to host it and link from my website.
Nice.
And yeah, and Udemy is okay. It's okay if you don't have an audience, and
Right.
and it's good for the practice as well, how to how
Mm.
to bring out a course. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you have an audience, use your own platform,
Right.
definitely. Yeah,
So when can people look forward to your upcoming course?
I hope people are looking forward to it, and I'm hoping I can finish it by the end of this month.
Right.
That's my plan. I still have a lot to do, to film, and I'm making an ebook to go with it as well, so that people can not only just watch the videos, but they can also read the ebook, or have a PDF to follow things. So there's a lot to it. It's going to be it's not a mini course anymore, because I didn't realize that how much I wanted to really say about it, So yeah, it's quite a complete thing, and I'm hoping to finish it by the end of this month. And if I
Nice.
don't, then I'm in trouble.
Well, I'm looking forward to that course. Do you have any words for the audience?
Well, just to say, follow Shashwat, because I followed him and now I'm where I am. And just don't give up ever, because this is not a short term get rich quick scheme. This takes time. Put in the effort, put in the work, don't copy anybody, do your own, bring in your own ideas. And if you enjoy doing this, then you're already winning, because if you're doing something you love, then that's winning in my book. And yeah, and I think just the main thing is not to give up, because it's easy to do that when you're in this business. You suddenly start dropping off the radar, no sales, and it's very easy to say this doesn't work, but it does work. It picks up again. So yeah, that's my biggest advice, really. Yeah.
Awesome. And where can people find you on the internet?
Well, they can find me on thehomeboss.com. They can find me on YouTube if they Google, or if they search for my name, for the Home Boss. And that's, oh yes, and the Facebook group, if I can plug that.
For sure.
So the Home Boss group on Facebook, which I'm really, really proud of the people in that group, because they're really helpful. But you've got a group as well, Shashwat.
Yeah.
Do you know how difficult it is sometimes
Yeah.
to run, because sometimes you have to kick people out, and I hate doing that.
Awesome. And thanks for doing this. It
You're
was
very,
great.
very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
To me, and to my family, you're a bit of a celebrity. So when I told them I was being interviewed by Shashwat, they thought, "Wow, that's really great." So thank you so much for interviewing me. That's
No,
fantastic, and I wish you an even bigger Q4 next year, or this year. And I wish you all the best. Really.
thank you. I'll
Bye bye, everyone.